I forgot. We'll do this, and then is it okay if when we go between the two lectures, you girls can do your... Yeah. So I'll do kinesia, or I'll do fundamentals first, and then you guys can do your little project. All right, chapter 18, athletic massage, sports massage. Most people call it sports massage. What's the purpose of this? So sports massage, if you haven't guessed already, is the application of massage techniques that combine your anatomic and physiological knowledge of a specific sport. So this, you'd have to have a good understanding of strength training, muscles, conditioning, and specific skills to enhance athletic performance. So it's massage to enhance athletic performance. So this helps athletes restore mobility and flexibility to their injured muscles because they overuse them. It also helps to reduce the recovery time of injury. Then we have something called adaptive sports massage. This is sports massage for athletes with a mental or developmental disability, such as like the Special Olympics. I've never actually worked on anybody with a mental developmental disability yet. I think it'd be fun.
Last week, I have a student who has Down syndrome that comes with his mom.
Yeah.
And he was limping last week.
Did you work on him?
I want mom to check him. And I asked him, could I look at your foot? And he's nonverbal. And he said yes. And nodded his head. And I took his sock off. And it looked maybe a little bit swollen. And his mama said, oh, he's always a little bit thick on the ankles. And I'm like, okay. And I asked if I could take his other sock off. And he said, yes. I took his other sock off. I was a little worried about this whole, I've said this, noticing differences.
Yeah.
His left ankle was as cold as ice. His right ankle, the one that was hurting, was hot.
Ooh.
Something is going on here.
Yeah, man. No wonder he's limping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like,
yeah.
yeah, it was like something's definitely going on,
Go see your doctor, lady. Especially with hot, it's probably inflamed, or else, and cold, he's lack of circulation. Something's going on there,
I was just really yay.
You're like, I'm smart.
I can't do this.
We're smart. That's cute. Yeah. So if you guys do work with people that are nonverbal, pick up the cues. Pay attention to them more, their face.
Always ask.
Yeah.
Always ask, even if they're nonverbal.
And you can ask every single part.
Yes.
Can I uncover this foot? Can I take off this sock? Because chances are they're going to have clothes on.
Yes.
Because that's their safety too. Good talk.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's good. That was nice information. So for athletic or sports massage, for us, we must understand certain muscle groups that are being used in different sports. It's really important to know the muscles if you are wanting to offer sports massage. I mean, you should know them anyhow, but in this case, you are either going to make or break their game. You must understand the biomechanics, which is how the body wants to work as a whole when they're doing particular movements. So somebody who's running after the soccer ball and kicking, you're not just using your leg and your hip and your foot to kick the ball. You have the whole balance thing going on. You have your postural muscles, all kinds of stuff. So you have to understand what's going on with the body there. And then I have a little example here. Example, foot placement can affect what the knees, the hips, the back and shoulders, and also the head can do. That's why we need to take care of our feet. If we start having issues with our feet, work that out as quick as you can because it could eventually affect everything. Next thing you know, you need a hip replacement. Endurance. We're going to talk about something called endurance and overload. Endurance is the act, the quality, or the power of withstanding hardship or stress. So somebody who has good endurance, like a runner, you're not going to see me doing a 5K. Not anymore. I hate running. But then someone who's used to it, who can have that mindset, like, I'm going to work through the burn. I don't want to work through the burn, sister. So that's somebody who's got a lot of endurance. They can work through that. Overload. This is the principle of applying stresses that are generally greater than those the body is accustomed to, thereby forcing the body to adapt to the heavier load by increasing strength and endurance. So overload, think weight training. You're working out to get stronger. I feel like that's self-explanatory. So endurance, withstanding hardship and stress. Overload, putting greater stressors on the body than you're used to. Intense training results. So people who have intense training because of sports, practices and stuff like that and games, they have increased metabolic waste buildup in their tissues. So you have all that cellular debris, you have lactic acid building up, and it's our job to kind of help the body rid that through the lymphatic system, right? So muscle strains can happen, microscopic or major muscle strains. So you might have a very microscopic muscle strain that's causing a little inflammation and some pain, but it's not a major injury. So you want to kind of nurture that. So that's where you're going to probably do, massage therapy to bring some blood flow to the area. Also, being mindful of, you think athletes doesn't mean deep tissue massage. Because if you do too deep on an athlete, you might hinder their ability to perform. And then also educate them on that. That it doesn't mean it has to hurt for a massage to be good and effective. So inflammation and fibrosis can happen from intense training. So the fibrosis would be your thickening of your tissues, all right? So when your tissue thickens, it can sometimes form that scar tissue. And then the scar tissue what it's doing is trying to protect the area, but it can also limit your mobility and cause pain, and things aren't sliding, tissue is not sliding over itself like it should. Athletes can have spasms in their muscles. I know I told you guys about how I've done races and their calves are spasming. It's super cool. And not for them, for me though. Super cool learning experience. They can also have restricted range of motion. So usually, it usually takes stressed and fatigued tissues 48 to 72 hours to recoup. Athletic massage can reduce this time by half. So that's why it's so important for athletic massage. This is why the Olympics have massage therapists on staff all the time. Also, people who have worked out intensely, you always notice the day 2 is always the worst, right? Oh my God. You're trying to walk downstairs and your legs are so wobbly. Sit on the toilet. You can't. Everything hurts. All right. What are the beneficial effects of athletic massage? This is the same for any good effect. So we're just repeating it and pretending it's for athletes, right? So it causes hyperemia, so increased blood flow to the muscle, which causes increased blood, oxygen, nutrients to the overworked muscles. It enhances your local venous and lymphatic circulation to flush out wastes more effectively, more quickly. It calms muscle tissue and it reduces spasms in the muscles. It can also help identify areas of tension that they maybe don't know they have, to try to reduce these tense areas, to keep them from being injured. So you can, do massage to prevent injury and massage to heal injury. It helps break down adhesions between fascial sheaths. So trigger points and adhesions, all that good junk. Reduces fibrosis that may be formed from inflammation and trauma. So not only are they overworking the muscles, but if you have a high impact sport like football or hockey, you're going to have literal traumas and bruising to your tissues. Massage for athletes also helps realign the collagen fibers to get everything in the direction it's supposed to go, to move smoothly. So regular athletic massage encourages better performance. It allows for sooner, more sustainable peak performance. It improves their flexibility. It allows muscles to respond more quickly and more powerfully. Where am I at? Generally reduces muscle stiffness, so faster recovery by 50%. Remember? Reduces pain, spasms, shin splints, tension. Assists in a quicker recovery and promotes relaxation and recuperation time. I feel like this is common sense, but I don't know, let's do it. So some techniques that would be used. Anything you got is what I say. Compression, deep tissue, trigger point, cross fiber friction, shaking and jostling, active joint movement, so range of motion, muscle energy techniques. So these are all really good techniques. Anything in the therapeutic category will be beneficial for athletes. And I don't think it's on here because we're not learning cupping till next semester, but cupping is awesome for athletes, right? It's not going to cause more injury, but it's going to bring some localized circulation to the area. Right, so you can provide massage pre-event, during event, and post-event. It just depends on what you're hired for. I know Alyssa does work on the wheeling nailers, so she does a lot of athletic massage. That's why I'm like, this is her chapter, man. So it depends on what you're being hired for. Most of you aren't going to be at a sports event doing massages in between, like innings or whatever you call it. That was my baseball reference. That's all I got.
Oh.
Innings or in between quarters.
There you go. The new women's baseball team thing is getting going. They might need some therapists.
Or Savannah Bananas. Have you guys heard of
Yeah,
that? That would be
I
fun.
could totally be a massage therapist for Canada.
You're like, yeah, you'd be dancing on the field with them.
Hashtag goals.
So you can do pre-event. If you do a pre-event, you want to give them stimulating moves, right? So this would be your fast-paced, stimulating, invigorating moves to get the muscles ready. If it's during the events, this is just massage. Say they're like, oh yeah, that throw really did me in, and then you can work on the areas, right? These are all spot treatments. You're not just doing a full body massage on the sidelines. Post-event is slower paced, okay? So you stimulated them, now you want to kind of get those muscles in recovery. Also, I would say post-event could also be like at your office. You can do a longer session. So I disagree with the 15 to 30 minutes here, but after the event, you can do a full body routine if that's what they need, or a longer session. We have restorative or training massage. This is massage during training. So please read the words and decipher what any questions might mean. This is so they can train hard with fewer injuries in between training days. Deep work is similar to an intense workout. So remember, it should be done on days when training is light or no training at all. So if you have somebody who's super athletic and like gym buff or like into a lot of sports, tell them not to go hard at the gym the day of their massage, because they're going to feel like they got hit by a bus, followed by a short bus, followed by a Greyhound. The muscles are going to be sore like they did a double workout. And that is with anybody doing a massage. Tell them, All right, I tell them yoga's fine, whatever. A light workout, do a cardio day. If you really cannot refrain from working out, make it a cardio day. Rehabilitation or treatment massage. So this would be your massage that's encouraged for a quicker recovery from injury. So this would be your normal massage after the fact. Some general issues that happen with athletes. Here are some. The list goes on and on and on. I don't even have like concussion on here. All right, strains and sprains. Achilles tendon tears or Achilles tendon inflammation. If that happens, a lot of times it leads to plantar fasciitis. Runner's cramps in the legs, tendonitis of the elbows or any joint. Ligament tears, which are going to take longer to heal. Remember, ligaments take longer than muscles and tendons. The big one for athletes is overuse injuries. Here's some injuries. This guy looks like he is in some pain. Poor guy. This is football. Football. So we have grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3 injuries for athletes. So 1 would be mild pain, severe overstretching of the fibrous tissue. There is little to no damage. They have full of range of motion and they have full strength. There's just a little pain, okay? So as we get higher in the grades, we get higher in the severity. Make sense? 2 is moderate to severe pain. There could be swelling or discoloration, redness or bruising, right? Some tearing of some fibrous tissue. And then this is where you have a little bit of reduced range of motion, a little bit of reduced strength. So be careful around this. Again, you don't want to work on an acute injury, so work above and below the area just to bring blood flow to the area and kind of get rid of the cellular debris. Grade 3, immediate pain. This is severe. Complete tissue rupture. Ouch. Intensive swelling. Usually there's a tissue deformity going on. They don't have strength or range of motion. Refer out. Once they are cleared to start getting massage after a grade 3 injury, they might be working alongside a physical therapist or something. Then you can start doing your massage per doctor's orders. So here's the stages of healing. We have acute stage. This is your inflammatory stage. Remember, the inflammatory stage isn't necessarily a bad thing. We need the histamines to go to the area to heal it. So this is usually day 1 through 3 after an injury, unless it's a very severe injury, right? This is when you're doing price, protect, protect, rest, ice, compress, elevate. After about 3-4 days, we have our regenerative or our subacute stage. When this is happening, our fibroblasts in our body have gone to the area to produce collagen to help mend the damaged tissues. So this is where sometimes we have our scar tissue if it's really, really bad, right? So we're going to have our tissue repair slowly, and sometimes it'll leave a scar, sometimes it won't. But it's really important to be doing lighter massage at that point to kind of realign these fibers and keep the collagen fibers from going nuts. Remodeling stage. This is when the tissue is way on its way to recovery, okay? Throughout healing, sports massage is provided to reduce your inflammation and adhesions. It helps promote blood, lymph, increases range of motion and flexibility, and helps increase strength. So remember how massage regularly can actually help with muscle tone? This is a good case of that. Muscle tone recovery. Oh, that's it. Peace out. A-Town down.